Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. Happy Monday to you. Thought I'd start off with a little tune that I wrote years ago. I think I've played this a time or two on the channel. I mentioned, I'm sure at that time, that what inspired this song was I had two different friends, independent, they didn't know each other, and they ended up getting divorced. And anyway, I thought they were both the perfect couples. And so anyway, that's why I wrote this song. So hope you enjoy it. It's called I Wish I'd Loved You More Back Then. In the sunlight, that black car sure shines, and it reminds me of our better times. Back to a time our love was new, when all my days were filled with dreams of you. Lonely evenings that I spend at home, I keep your picture by my telephone. Oh, what I'd give if that old phone would ring, to hear your voice and all the joy it brings. But all my dreams have a bitter end. We're always in our cars and leaving again. No, we're not lovers now, we're only friends. And I wished I'd loved you more back then. On the weekends when I take the kids home, I see your shadow in the door alone. I try to fight it, but my lips say your name. My mind knows better, but my heart's to blame. And all my dreams have a bitter end. We're always in our cars and leaving again. No, we're not lovers now, we're only friends. But I wished I'd loved you more back then. All my dreams have a bitter end. We're always in our cars and leaving again. No, we're not lovers now, we're only friends. But I wished I'd loved you more back then. And I was playing that on the auction mandolin. My buddy Randy passed away. He passed away, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Can't remember now exactly. He had a double lung transplant, and his widow Cecilia is auctioning off his instruments, and I'm sure 90% of you have already know that and know where to find them. But they're these instruments that auctioning off, they're all nice instruments. I would call all of them high quality instruments. And they're on my shopping page of my website. The website is www.rosastringworks.com, and then you click on the shopping tab or the shopping menu there. I'm going to set this out of the way. Well, looky there. How did I get the cord through there? This only happens to me. It's amazing. It's amazing I get through a day. I don't really have to have these headphones on, but with the new setup, it's better if I wear the headphones, because if I turn the monitor up, it's possible to feed back through the microphone, and I don't need that hassle. So anyway, thought I'd just tell you a number of things here. First of all, we're presently at 105,301 subscribers. It's slowed down quite a bit just fairly recently, and it's growing at only at a rate of about 409 per 28 days. So I don't know. I'm going to have to get more videos out, I'm sure. That's 3/4 of it. My new monitor came in. If you've noticed how, the camera's at a little bit different angle. I pointed it down a little bit more so you could see the mandolin a little better. But it's setting up a lot higher because this monitor is much bigger. And it does work really well for what I want it to do. It's a little disappointing in that it doesn't have the resolution that I thought it was going to have. I don't know, maybe I just didn't read it close enough. I can't shrink things down as much on this monitor as I can the big monitor down in the shop. Now that monitor is even bigger than this one. But this is big enough. This one gets the job done. It does really what I need it to do. I was just expecting a little bit more, but overall, I guess I'm happy with it, especially at the price. It was a pretty inexpensive monitor. The Saturday Kiwanis deal in St. James was a total flop for me. It was fine for everybody else, but it was a flop for me. I get, for the last 20 years, I've gone to the St. James Kiwanis pancake breakfast and volunteered my time and everything. I'm not expecting any special treatment, you understand, but I'm just explaining the facts. So for the last 20 years, I usually get there an hour early. I set up the sound, get everything tested, have it ready to go. Then my band plays for an hour. And then, a lot of times my band would go home, or half of them would go home at least. Some would stay and even participate in other bands, and even I would do that. I would fill in on another band if they needed somebody to fill in or whatever. And I would wait until all the bands had played, and then I'd break the sound system down, like around 11:30 or 12, and then I'd go home. So it pretty much ate up most of the day. Well, this year I got there early like normal, and I set up the sound system, and I just about done setting it up, and this lady comes up to me and says, "You can't play on stage this year." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "We've done it for 20 years now, She goes, "No, we're putting the pictures there, and you're going to have to play over there by the Coke machine, between the Coke machine and the stage." Well, there was only like 10 feet of space there. Plus, there was not a plug in close. Plus, I'd already set up the sound system. I said, "Can't we just set these pictures, like by the door where people come in as they're paying, they'll see them. You're forced to see them that way, No, can't do that. Got to leave them on stage." "Okay, all right, okay." So, "Well, can't we just set them over there next to the stage against that long white wall there?" I said, "That'd be a perfect place to put them." No, can't do that. Got to leave them on stage." "Okay, fine." So I tore the sound system back down because I would have had to tear it down anyway, and I would have had to move it. And I thought, I'm not going to do that. There just wasn't room to move it between the Coke machine and the stage. It just wasn't enough room. There's barely enough room to have a small band there, let alone, a sound system on top of it. So, and they moved it further away from the people that were eating and further away from your audience. And anytime if you're playing, that being far away from your audience is just a recipe for a pain in the neck, So I said, "Well, I guess what you're telling me is you really don't want me here this year." So I just packed it up and I went home. And that was all that was said, and that was all that was done. I just packed it up and went home. Now, the rest of them stayed and played, I'm sure. In fact, I know they did. So it went off just fine. They didn't miss me. And that's okay with me, too, because I figure if they, after 20 years of volunteering, if they can't just bend a little bit, show a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of common sense, really. No, I just decided to forget it. So anyway, that's the way that went. And I was actually kind of glad of it because I needed to get that other third instrument up on auction for Randy. And so I did that. I spent almost all day getting that Martin guitar ready for auction. It just a lot more behind the scenes goes on than you think. With all that video editing and the photos and the creating the thumbnail and there's just a bunch of stuff that goes on that you have to do on everything you do. And so it took me most of the day to get the guitar up there for auction, and I did that. And I was glad to get that done, to be honest with you. So presently, the auction stands as the Taylor Classical is $700, the Martin D25K is at $1,000, and the Rosa mandolin is at $3,200. And all three of those are good buys right now. I mean, they're real good buys. That Taylor Classical is nothing to sneeze at. That's a nice guitar. I mean, I'm sure that the market value is not crazy high in that. I mean, I looked it up. I know that about what they sell for, but you're not going to get hurt on that guitar. That thing's just like brand new. I mean, I don't think it's got a scratch on it anywhere, and the case is nearly new. I mean, looking wise, it's got a little bit of, use that you can see on the case, but almost none. Anyway, so it's a very good deal on that classical if you're into classicals. The Martin D25, it's got a great sound. It's a real nice sounding guitar. It's kind of a cross between an 18 and a 28. It's right in the middle there, and both of those are excellent guitars, and I would say this one is too. And then, of course, the Rosa mandolin, you have to make up your own mind about that one, and that was what I just played. Moving on down, after I got the mandolin, after I got that guitar, that last guitar up for auction, and got that all stowed away, well, then I thought I need to get back into this recording thing and try to figure this stuff out. So Saturday afternoon, then I I might have installed it Friday night, actually. I can't remember. But anyway, I installed Audacity, and because it's free, and I thought, well, I'll start with that and see how it goes since it's free, And it was great. I got it going and figured out how to record with it and stuff, but it is not a DAW. It is not a digital audio workstation. It's really just a very high-end audio editor. That's really what it amounts to. It's great for radio stations. It's great for vlogging and stuff like that, but it's not that great for multi-track recording. So I decided I better look further. So I went ahead and installed Reaper. Now, Reaper has a 60-day trial deal on it. So I thought, well, I can't get hurt by doing that either. I'll just go ahead and install Reaper. And I did that, and it's way more, well, they're both pretty complicated. Audacity ain't nothing simple, I can tell you that right now. But Reaper is way more complicated than Audacity. And it took me quite a while to get going on either one of them. They're really not simple. If you've never used one of those things, I tell you right now, you'd have a fun field day with that. So anyway, I got Reaper going pretty good, and I did actually make a recording with it. I'm definitely no expert yet. It's, I need a lot of work on a lot of things. It's just way more to it than you might imagine. You have to route your different microphones to different tracks. You have to work in the effects to, like your reverb and different noise, things that affect the track and how the track sounds. You got to adjust the levels of the tracks up and down and try to blend everything together and then mix it all together so that it sounds like a song instead of a bunch of individual tracks playing. It's a lot to it, a whole lot to it. But anyway, I'm making good progress on that. I think I can do it. It's something that I kind of understand because of my background with my recording studio and my background in radio and different things too. So, I'm getting it done. But it's going to be a while before I feel like I know what I'm doing with that. I did finally just get some free time yesterday evening, and I thought I'm going to go out and just relax and metal detect. I like to do that. That just kind of takes my mind off of stuff. Really, I'm just out there looking for, things in the ground. I'll just show you just miscellaneous stuff here first. None of this first stuff I'm showing you is of any value at all. I just wanted to show you what you find in the ground. Because I've told you before, there are just gazillions of signals. Well, like just stuff like that you find in the ground. Stuff like this. Just a piece of, I guess that's copper or brass. I don't know what it is. It's hard to tell what it is. Found, some more little nondescript parts. Now, this reminded me of one of those picture hangers that I have found before. It's got the same I can't show it to you very good. It's got the same curve thing where the wire would hang through there, but I have a feeling this is probably for hanging a wire on a tractor or something like that. It's what I think, but I don't know that for sure. It could have been one of those picture hangers. I found like a valve stem. This is the one that comes out of the rubber inner tube would come up over that part right there, the rubber neck. But the rubber had disintegrated, and this was in the ground. I don't know how old it is, but I imagine it's pretty darn old, and it was way back there in the back in the middle of a field. So I don't know. It may have come off a tractor, might have come off of something else, just stuff like that. You find it everywhere. I found a penny. Unfortunately, this one's a modern penny. It's a 1970 something, so it's worth a penny. And I found a bottle cap. You don't see the old kind of bottle caps anymore, well, not very often. I mean, I know they still do make some of them. But anyway, this one here says, you won $100,000. Unfortunately, the offer expired August, 77, I think it was. Of course, I'm just making that up, but that's kind of the way my luck would normally go. I was looking in there trying to see, is there one of those deals where they have an offer on the inside, because they used to do that years ago, in case you didn't know that. I found a couple of more shotgun shells. These are really old ones. Again, most of the time people call this just scrap, but I use it for dating purposes. I haven't dated these. Well, I know the one of them I've already got like this one. This was a Winchester Leader, I think it is, a 12 gauge. I know it's old. I don't remember the exact date on it. And this other one, I can't really read it, so I'll have to wait till I get a microscope on this one. But it looks pretty darn old, and that way it just helps me date stuff here on the farm. Then I thought, well, I'm just, I really never go up in the woods. And so, if you know where the pond is, the back pond where I built it with the spring, and, I told you there was a house place that set, I didn't know it at the time when I built the pond, but I found out later there was a house that set right on the hill, right above where I put the pond. And the reason that's the case is because the spring was right there next to those big oak trees between the pond and where the old house was. And anyway, I found lots of stuff around there. I've shown you most of the stuff I found around there. One of them was a wedding ring, or it was the engagement ring where the stone was missing. But I found lots of other stuff too, pocket knives and all kinds of stuff. And I think I found 9 axe heads around that house. Crazy. Well, I thought I've never gone up in the woods behind the house, and so I went up in the woods and I just found this little nondescript piece of metal. Now, I thought that this was I think it's the end of a pin. I think that this is where it broke right here on these 2 little jagged points. I think it broke there, and I think this was a pin, and you would slide something through there to hold something on. Like maybe they were pulling a trailer or something up through there, and this broke off. I don't know. That's just what I think. It's possible that it's worked the other way, that it broke off here, but this doesn't look like this broke off. This looks like this was rounded on purpose, so I'm pretty sure it broke off on the weak point there. Anyway, that is just that's just the kind of stuff you find in the ground. It's just everywhere. And this is all the way out in the middle of the woods, really. Also, in that same general area, closer to the spring, I found another metal button. And I found a bunch of these. I imagine this one will match the ones I've already found. I think I found all the buttons to a shirt in this one spot, and my assumption is they threw a shirt down there and it rotted away and left the metal buttons. And I have a feeling this is another one of those. And I think that those buttons were from the very early 1900s, like 1910, 20, somewhere in there. Here's some more finds. They kind of get a little bit better and better, I guess. This next one is a brass debuckle, and the metal part that goes to it was there, but it broke off. So the little deal there this is steel, the rest of it's brass. So I don't know how old that is. It's probably not real old because of the fact that this iron is still there. I bet it's from the 30s, though, or at least that old, probably. Then the best stuff here, I got a few more things to show you. I found these metal buttons, and these are all for overalls, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they're all overall buttons. I found 3 of them within 3 feet of each other out in the weeds, tall weeds, above that spring again, near where the old house was. Again, I think they probably threw down an old pair of overalls that just rotted away and left the buttons there, is what I have a feeling. And here's a close-up of those buttons there. Or of one of the buttons. And you can see it says Crown across the top. It's got Crown brand B at the bottom, and then it's B and L. I looked that up, and it says, best I could find was 1915. So it's roughly that time frame. You can see the crustation on, the way it's crusted over there. Been in the ground a long time, you can tell. And then finally, for me, the best thing is another round lead ball, and it's white. So I'm saying this is very old, well over 100 years old, and possibly Civil War. I mean, it's very likely it could be Civil War. Don't know that for sure, because round balls are harder to tell, but because I found so many other Civil War bullets and things here, and we do know that a Union encampment was right in this general area, so that's probably what it's from, but who knows. Well, that's everything I found. I just thought I'd show you that stuff. I mean, there is so much to be found out here. It's unbelievable. You could spend the rest of your life all day long every day and you'd never find it all, because there's just thousands of signals in the ground. It's amazing. Well, that's pretty much everything I had for this morning, so let's go to the comments and see where we're at. D.E. was the first one there, and then Carolyn Fike, and then Kathy Voles, and from West Palm Beach, Florida. And I'm looking for question marks. Carolyn says, everyone enjoying the time change? Did I do this at the wrong time? I didn't even realize the time changed. I'm not kidding. I didn't even realize it. So am I late? Or am I early? I don't know which. I'm glad you said that, though, because I completely forgot about it. I had heard it was going to change, and then I got so busy yesterday, I completely forgot about it. I don't know. So spring forward, so it must be 9:30, so I'm late? Or 9:23. Oh, well, there you go. I could have done it on time, because I've been awake forever this morning. I think I woke up at 3. So I tell you, it's not easy being me. Anyway, moving on down. Let's see. There's I can't know if I can pronounce this name or not. Thierry Hackard. Hello, Jerry. Friday evening, I watched the live in my bed on my Android tablet. You were talking about big boys who are afraid of spiders. I took my eyes off the screen for a moment and screamed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't find the spider thing at all scary to me. They could crawl across my face. It wouldn't bother me really much. Even the brown recluse, if it crawled across my face, wouldn't really bother me much. I mean, I'd knock it off, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a big deal. Let's see. Moving on down, Paul Walton was the first one after we went live, and then John Pepper and Bill Mumbo, looking for question marks primarily. Dickie says, rest in peace to my friend. Yep, I hear that. Then Thierry Hackard again says, when I watch you live, the sound is very weak. Usually I watch later, and the sound is good. It seems that YouTube normalizes the sound afterwards. That could be part of the problem, because when I listen to it on my television, It's perfectly loud. I don't know. And all of the signals that are coming out are on the edge of burning. I don't have it turned down like most audio files. They want them way below so you have a lot of headroom. I've got mine right at the edge of burning. In fact, it burns quite a bit. In fact, it's burning on my audio interface right now. It's clicking into the red. Up here, it's for sure yellow, and I'm talking about on the software that we're using, it's yellow and red. So it's as loud as I can turn it up, you know. I mean, I could get closer, but it's going to really burn now. You know, it's just burning is what it does when you get close. So all I can tell you is it is what it is. Just turn your volume up. That's all I can tell you. Let's see. Ray Lemoy, what happened to your products I use page? Well, I've covered this a number of times, but it just went south, and all the links quit working. I tried to fix it, tried to rebuild a whole new page, didn't work. So I have a feeling when I finally get around to talking to GoDaddy, they're going to try to sell me something else to fix the problem, because every time there's a problem, that's what GoDaddy does. And so I just left it off for now. It's just a pain in the neck. It's really aggravating. And it costs me money because, I mean, I don't make a lot of money from that, but I make about $100 a month based on all the referrals, because you figure there's hundreds and hundreds of referrals, and I make about $100 a month, which, you know, it's nice to get. It's not going to make me or break me, but it's nice to get. But because of whatever reason, it quit working. And I didn't have anything to do with me. It just quit working. Clyde Price. Good morning, Jerry and viewers. Was wondering if you ever met Mike Snyder. Yeah, I did meet him once or twice. Years ago. I seen him on YouTube, and he is a talented guy. He plays banjo and mandolin. Yeah, I was the chairman of the Missouri Area Bluegrass Committee, and we hired him 2 or 3 years in a row to come play our indoor festival that we had. He, real nice fella, and very, like you said, very, very talented. He wouldn't know me from Adam, but, I met him 2 or 3 times anyway. Larry T. Oh, well, it's scrolled up on me, and I don't know where that went. Okay, here it is. What difference can you expect doing a fret job when the fretboard is lacquered? Well, I don't think that has a whole lot to do with anything. I mean, as long as you're not scraping the fretboard, which I typically do because of the finger wear and all the stuff. I typically do scrape the fretboards, but you can't really scrape a lacquered fretboard unless you want to scrape all the lacquer off. But other than that, that's about it, really. There shouldn't be any other difference. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. It's just a fretboard. I mean, a fret job's a fret job. You're just talking about the tops of the frets and just getting them level. And so the lacquer down on the fretboard itself won't have any effect, I don't think. Unless you're thinking of something I'm not thinking of. Kenneth Ennis, whew, made it. Nice chirping, haha, have a great day. Well, thanks, Kenneth. Rod Wentler, not to sound too critical, but instead of looking at the camera, now you appear to be looking off to the side. No big deal. Well, yeah, it's hard to look at this little tiny itsy-bitsy camera. Well, you can't see it. I thought that was really stupid. I thought maybe you could see the camera itself. You can't do that. It's setting up a lot higher, and it's tiny. And the big screen here that I'm looking at is me. So, if I don't look at the screen, I don't know if whatever I'm showing you or doing is in the screen. I can't tell by the camera. So that's just the way it is. Ben Boyd, not sure if you know this, but only 925 D25Ks were ever made by Martin, and 850 of them were made in 1980. Yeah, I knew that a lot of them were made in 1980. I knew that. I didn't know the specific numbers. But that's maybe that's something I ought to put on that website. On the auction. Let me see if I write that down, because these comments that happen live, I don't see them again later. So I'll just say 925 made and 850 in 1980. Okay, I'll add that to the auction screen, because it might help the value. You just never know. Maybe there. Oh, DE says maybe there was a body under that shirt. You're talking about like where I found all these buttons, and also on this on these other buttons for the overalls or whatever they are. Yeah, you could. That's possible. Missouri soils are pretty acidic. I don't know if the bones would be completely rotted away in 100 years, but I imagine they would be. So they'd probably be gone. Gary Hayes, yeah, you never know with the Civil War and all that. It's very possible there could have been. Gary Hayes, let's see, West Virginia. How is the new song coming along? Well, I'm a bit disappointed with it, to be truthful. I've got it more or less finished, but I'm not overly enthusiastic about it. I really thought it had real good potential when I started it. I really did, and I don't know. I'm not giving up on it entirely. I don't want to play it yet because I think maybe I can improve it some more. Yeah, it's average at best right now, and average just don't cut it on a song. None of my songs are much above average, about average or slightly above, if anything. And so if you can't get them at least average or slightly above, there's not much point in playing them or singing them. That's kind of why I hardly ever do any of my own songs. Let's see. Well, I do them here on the channel now because YouTube has got so darn ornery about playing music on. Anyway, it's just one of them deals. The clock on the wall behind you is correct. Yeah, you know what? Okay, it is 8:30. Well, then I guess I did it on time. You know what happened was, yeah, I wake up by the, so I guess we are on time then, aren't we? I don't know. I didn't have time to think through this stuff, so you guys are getting me confused this morning. I don't even know. Are we on time or not? I really don't know. I guess we are because the computer keeps the time, and I went by the computer, so there you go. The reason the clock is right is because I think I thought it stopped, and I put a new battery in it yesterday, and it was exactly 1 hour off. So that's the reason it was exactly 1 hour off. I'm telling on myself. It's heck to get old. Like I said, I was so busy. That was the last thing on my mind. I didn't even think about the time change. I was busy all weekend. I mean, completely busy, daylight to dark, and then some. Gary, I'm an idiot. Gary Hayden, Jerry, what is the optimum clearance of the strings at the first fret of a mandolin? Well, like I said, I just use a Martin thin pick, and it's 16 thousandths. Now, some people that think they know everything said that's way too high, but let me tell you something. 16 thousandths is very, very minimal. Take a Martin thin pick, and you know how flimsy they are. That's pretty darn thin. And so the way I do it is it fits in just snug under the G, and as you go across the first fret, it gets just a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. And you don't want to make it crazy tight for the E. You just want it, where it basically picks the string up just a tiny bit, that you can perceive that it's lifting the string just a tiny bit, and that's just about right. I just do it by feel. I don't try to measure it exactly. So that's how I do it. I like everything simple, common sense, easy, and that's the easy way for me. And guitar players and musicians have lots of picks, so it's a perfect way to do it. Moving on down, Bill Mumble says, I had a pal who ignored spiders in the garden, but screamed like a girl if they were indoors. Yeah, like I said, I've been bit 3 times. Well, actually 4. I've been bit 3 times by brown recluse, and believe it or not, the 4th one, and you're not going to believe this, and you're going to think I'm making this up, but I swear to you, hand on a Bible, it's 100% true. The 4th one was a daddy longlegs. And you go, yeah, right, sure, they don't bite. And they don't. I mean, I've played with them my whole life. As kids, you'd play with the darn things, And I hate to say, but we'd pull some of their legs off and different things. We'd do all kinds of ignorant stuff as your kid. But anyway, I never got bit by one of them. Well, I was under my wife's small pickup truck, and I was working on the electric, I think, trailer wiring or something. I can't remember. I was under there for a reason. Just don't remember what the reason was. Anyway, I felt what I thought was a mosquito bite on my shoulder. And I thought, dadgummit. So I reached up there to swat it, and as I looked, it was a daddy longlegs, and he had his legs kind of arched up, and his body or head or whatever you want to call that was down biting me on the arm. I'm going, what the heck is that? And I just flicked him off. I didn't really think much of it. And it wasn't much more than a mosquito bite. It was about like a mosquito bite. And it lasted for about 2 hours. That it was a little bit irritated. And it was gone after a couple hours. And there's a lot of those stupid myths out on the internet that say that's the most poisonous spider in the world, but they can't bite you. Fortunately, they can't bite. Their teeth aren't long enough, or whatever it is, their fangs, or whatever you want to call it. They're not long enough. Well, I'm here to tell you both of those myths are wrong. Because they can bite you, and they, they aren't the most poisonous, or I wouldn't be here. But anyway, so I've been bit that I know of by 4 different spiders. Dickie Farley says there is definitely a difference in the volume after it, uploads and all that. But he says the volume is totally fine. Well, like I said, worst case is you just have to turn it up a little bit. But I'm not kidding you, there's nothing else I can do here. It's peaked to the max. And I don't know what else I could do. I mean, it's peaked to the max. If I turn it up anymore, you're just going to hear every time I say something. So I got it where I got it. Let's see. Nancy Milwaukee, you need to try resetting from Amazon itself. Apparently Amazon links expire. Well, I kind of did that. I mean, I actually built a new page and grabbed some products and put them out there, and they wouldn't work. I don't know what the deal is. Blackjack Guitar says it is wrong. It is 9:30. Well, how come my computer didn't change? Because computers generally change. My phone didn't change. It's 8:30. Whoops. Can you see it? Well, it just went off now. It's 8:39. That says 8:39, and somebody said that's right. So are you the one that's wrong? I don't know. I'm totally confused. I'm going to go with this is correct. Oh, Blackjack Guitar, sorry, my bad. Okay, I got you. He says, I'm in Canada. It's 9:36. Sorry. Don't get me more confused than I am already. I stay confused all the time, and all you're doing is just adding to it. Michael Peters, it's definitely on time because we don't have daylight savings in Arizona, so now your vlog comes in at 6 a.m. instead of 7 a.m. Oh my gosh. Ben Boyd, what
the conversion rate for time for Canada. Okay, let's see. I'm confused now. Let's see. Gary Hayes. Gary, West Virginia. Jerry, your songs are way above average. Don't sell yourself short. Well, thank you, Gary. That's very nice of you. I do try to, make them meaningful to some degree, somehow, I tell you where you fall short is on songwriting. At least this is just me talking, just my opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. Where I fall short, let's say it that way, when I'm trying to do songwriting, is I'm trying to force something in there. Like force a word into a spot. You're trying to force something to rhyme, force something to do this or that. To fall in the meter. You're trying to force things, and so to me, it has to flow natural, and it has to make sense naturally, as if you were speaking or talking to somebody. That's me. When you're trying to force it, it sounds like you're trying to force it, and it sounds dumb most of the time. Well, I'm halfway in there on this new song. It's a little bit forced in a place or two, and I'm trying to work that out and make it smoother. I think overall it's at least an average song. That's about where I'm at with it. It's about an average song, but it's not anything above average, I don't think. So that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to find a way to make it above average. But thanks, Gary. Ronald Todd says Eastern versus Central. Let's see. Bill Mumbo, you're an hour early in London. It's 1:40 p.m. Usually starts at 2 p.m. Okay. Let's see. Well, I think I've just messed up the whole stupid world. And, you're going to see that on the world news tonight. Rosa Stringworks caused a calamity in the world today. He got everybody confused about what time it really is. Let's see. All right. I'm looking for question marks here primarily. But Simon says the UK's harmless, quite small house spider is apparently more poisonous. The tarantula, but it's the same deal with its fangs, not big enough to... Yeah. Well, and it's... I'm not saying that's not true, but there's so darn many myths anymore. It's just, you can't hardly know what to believe. I mean, just if you see it on YouTube, it's got to be true, right? But there's so much crud out there today. Like the daddy long legs thing. I don't know how many of you have heard that, but there is a myth out there on the internet that the daddy longlegs is the most poisonous spider in the world. It's just that it can't bite you because its fangs are too short. Well, they're not too short. I can tell you that. And they must not be the most poisonous because, like I said, I'm still here. And I absolutely know for sure it bit me right there because I was looking at it. Ben Boyd says, send me your lyrics. I've written a few songs, and I'll gladly help you with the lyrics if you want. Well, thanks for the offer, Ben. I generally don't share stuff like that, but thanks for the offer. I thought about asking the general public here for ideas about a certain topic, but I'm just going to leave it for now. And if I can't do any better with it, probably will throw it out there and look for, because maybe you'll throw a phrase out that I hadn't thought of, that kind of thing. Bill Mumble says anytime is Rosa time. Thank you. But I have a feeling that I've probably confused everybody today. Carolyn Fike, Bill, when does the UK go on summertime? Okay. And then Dottie is, Jerry, can you shot webs from your wrist since you have been bit by these spiders? Oh, can I shoot web like the Spider-Man? No, I'm Batman. And, really, I am Batman because I do actually have a bat cave. And, all these other guys that say they're Batman, they don't have a real bat cave, and I do. So I'll just leave it up to you to draw your own conclusions. that's going to be about it for today. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to go sit in a round corner, or I'm going to go in a round room and sit in a corner. I'm already confused. But we will see you tomorrow with something else. Thank you for being here.